I used to be the kind of person who just couldn't save money, no matter how much I promised myself that this month would be different. By the time the month ended, my account was back to zero. Sometimes, I even had to borrow before the next paycheck came in. I told myself it was because I didn't earn enough. That saving was for people who made way more than me. But deep down, I knew the truth. I just didn't have a system. The breaking point came one evening when my car declined at the grocery store. The bill wasn't even up to $20, yet my account had already been eaten away by random small charges, forgotten subscriptions, and little impulse buys. Standing there at the counter, I felt embarrassed. That was the moment I said, enough is enough. I need a way to take control of my money. A few days later, I stumbled across something that sounded almost too simple, the envelope method. I read about it online, and at first, I laughed. It sounded old-fashioned, like something our grandparents might do. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. The rule was simple. Take your cash, divide it into envelopes labeled with different categories: rent, food, transport, entertainment, and one for savings. Once the envelope was empty, that was it. No borrowing from another one. No cheating. I decided to give it a shot. On payday, I went to the ATM, withdrew half of my paycheck in cash, and started stuffing the envelopes. Honestly, it felt a little weird. I wasn't sure if it would work. But at the end of that month, something shocking happened. For the first time in years, I actually had money left over. It wasn't much, maybe $30 or $40, but to me, that was a breakthrough. That tiny bit of leftover cash felt like proof that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't hopeless with money after all. So I kept going. By the second month, I got stricter with myself. I even created a new envelope labeled Savings and forced myself to slip $100 inside. It wasn't easy. There were times when I wanted to rip that envelope open to order food or buy something online. But physically seeing the money sealed inside gave me strength to leave it alone. Month by month, the system started to work. I became more disciplined. If the food envelope ran out, that was it. No extra eating out. If the transport envelope was getting low, I had to cut back on unnecessary trips. And slowly, my savings envelope began to grow. I'll be honest, it wasn't all smooth sailing. One month, I overspent on groceries and felt tempted to cheat by pulling from the savings envelope. Another time, I felt silly walking around with cash while everyone else was just tapping their cards. But despite those struggles, the envelopes forced me to face the reality of where my money was going. And then came the turning point. After a year of sticking with the system, I sat down one weekend to count my envelopes. I'll never forget the feeling. I opened my savings envelope, and inside was a pile of crisp bills. When I stacked them together, the total came to $3,000. $3,000. It wasn't some app or a bank account I rarely checked. It was right there in front of me, money that I'd saved with my own discipline, without stress, without complicated budgets, without being rich. Just envelopes, cash, and a bit of patience. The feeling of accomplishment was incredible. For the first time in my life, I felt in control of my money instead of money controlling me. That $3,000 wasn't just cash. It was proof that I could change my habits, that saving was possible for me. When I shared the story with my friends, some of them laughed. They said the method was too old school, but others were curious. One of my closest friends decided to try it too, and within 3 months, she had saved enough to buy herself a brand new laptop she'd been dreaming about for years. That's when I realized this method could work for anyone, not just me. Saving money isn't really about how much you earn. It's about how you manage what you have. For me, the envelope method was the key that unlocked that discipline. If you're someone who struggles with saving, I want you to imagine what an extra $3,000 in your hands could do for you. Maybe it's paying off a debt. Maybe it's booking that trip you've always wanted. Or maybe it's just a peace of mind that comes with knowing you have something to fall back on. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who could save. But here I am, proof that it's possible. All thanks to a simple, old-school method that anyone can try. So my advice is this: don't overthink it. Don't wait until you earn more. Start small. Grab a few envelopes, label them, and commit to filling that savings envelope, no matter how little. Trust me, the results will surprise you. Because if I could go from broke every payday to $3,000 saved without stress, then you can too.